It's a regular meeting of the Township of Mansfield Committee. Is that switched on, Brett?
It is switched on, yeah. That's working. Yours might be turned off.
This meeting being held in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act because adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notifying the Daily Record and by posting notice of such meeting on the Township website, in the municipal building, and by filing of said notice with the Township Clerk of the Township of Mansfield. Formal action may be taken at this meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Here.
Mr. Connolly.
Here.
Mr. McGinnis.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here.
Mayor Waters.
Here. Please run us through your flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Proclamation, 150th anniversary. Anybody read one? You want this read, the proclamation?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's see. So Mansfield celebrates America's 250th anniversary, whereas the Township of Mansfield is pleased to announce the participation in state and nationwide efforts to mark July 4th, 2026 as nation's 250th anniversary. And whereas the Township of Mansfield's Green Team, Mansfield Township Police Department, Mansfield Township Fire Company 28, and Tri-County Fire Company 29 are hosting the Mansfield Celebrates America's 250th Anniversary event to commemorate the Township of Mansfield's pivotal role in our country's history. And whereas the event will take place on Saturday, June 27th, 2026, with a rain date of Sunday, June 28th, 2026, to celebrate this historic milestone from the American Revolution to present day, with an emphasis on the future growth of our country and community. And whereas this endeavor is to raise awareness of how the past 250 years of colonial battles, thriving industries, successful commerce, and historic buildings have shaped our township and played a vital role in building Warren County. And whereas all Township of Mansfield residents, as well as residents of surrounding municipalities, are invited to join the celebration on Saturday, June 27th, 2026 at Hector A. Cafferata Park, Junior Park, 160 Port Murray Road, Port Murray, New Jersey, Warren County, the United States of America, and therefore be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Mansfield declares Saturday, June 27th, 2026, Celebration Day for America's 250th anniversary of the establishment of the United States as an independent nation.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes. Executive session, March 25th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. A regular session, March 25th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Clerk's report.
Good evening, everyone. The applicant for the certified tax collector position unfortunately did not accept the job offer that was presented by the committee. I have since circulated the job opening amongst the Warren County clerks and have also posted it on the township website to gain interest. I have not received any communication regarding the conflict zoning officer from Washington Township as of yet, or any other Warren County municipalities. The ballot draw for township committee petitions was conducted by the county clerk, and the township was notified of the results. The vote by mail ballots are to be mailed out on April 16th. I received the proposal today from Hunter Research for the archaeology services for the stone border wall at Mount Bethel, and that was forwarded to the mayor and the CFO for their review. And lastly, the bid for the fire truck rehab was published on April 2nd, and the bids are due by 10 a.m. on Thursday, April 23rd to the clerk's office. And I believe Lee has three items that she needs to talk about. the dog licenses.
Oh, okay, can you do it now?
With the delinquent dog licenses, we started out, licenses have to be renewed the month of January. As of February, late fees of $5 per dog are collected. We started out with 123 delinquent dogs. Right now, we've collected enough so that we only have 69 dogs that are delinquent. 3 different letters have gone out for the delinquencies, and the last one that went out, it notified them that they're going to be receiving summonses. As of now, from February 1st until now, we've collected $608 in late fees. I would like permission from the committee we have 3 people who still live in town who have received summonses for the past 2 years. Their mailings have never come back from the post office to say that they have moved, that the letters were undeliverable. Because they failed to appear in court, they have failures to appear right now. For us to send out another summons to them, because the animal control officer issues the summonses, for us to send out another, a third summons for 3 years in a row, it's kind of redundant, because right now, we won't see that money now, but what's going to happen is when those 3 people go to renew their driver's licenses, because they have failures to appear in court, they're not going to be able to renew their driver's licenses until they actually settle everything with the court, which means then they'll get the money for that. So I would like permission from the committee with these 3 people to mark them down as moved, because it's messing up our reports. It's 3 years in a row now, it's going to mess up our reports. So if it's okay with the committee, I would like to mark them down as having had moved.
Can you do that?
Yeah, so did the mail came back so that?
No, never came back.
So it's our belief that they're still there.
That they're still there. Yeah, because people who have moved, we've gotten it comes back. All of them they usually come back, and it's stamped that what do you call it, failure to deliver, or have moved, no longer living here, that kind of a thing.
I would just suggest we maybe make a motion to say we're going to hold these matters in abeyance, because I don't want to say that they considered moved, because they haven't moved.
Okay.
So, and then eventually when they renew their license, then they'll catch up with them, because I guess the courts can't issue bench warrants anymore if somebody doesn't appear.
Okay.
That's not my strength.
So should we issue summonses again for a 3rd year in a row?
Well, I would just say that's not going to do any good, correct? They've already got 2 out.
They've already
so
got
they're not going
2.
to be able to renew their license.
Right.
I would just say, if the committee's so inclined, to just hold these matters in abeyance, they've not responded twice already, and throwing good money up their bed, and they're going to have to pay when.
We've made money.
Yeah, I would make a motion on that.
Do I have a motion in that regard?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You finished? Thank you. Finance?
I only have one item tonight. I received a call from Quick Cooper. They are a telephone company. They spoke with our previous CFO/office manager when she was here. I did meet with him briefly. He feels that we could save some money on our telephone bill. He's averaging $11,000 a year possibly that we could save. I'd be more than happy to meet with him again and go over, he gave me 2 different type of quotes, but if someone on the committee would also like to meet with him to go over the telephone process and the best way to move forward, for the township, if anyone is interested.
I can take a look at, I can meet up with him.
How soon do you want to do that?
Probably not until the end of this month.
Okay, so you set up a date and then somebody will be.
You can do that?
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Engineer?
Good evening, everyone. Couple of quick items. As you know, Schneider Road, Section 2 was completed late last fall and went through the winter. Seemed to go through pretty well, with the exception there's some slumping of the turf matting that needs to be repaired. So we're in the process of working with the contractor on getting that repaired and getting reset. As far as Mitchell Road goes, it was first anticipated that the project would have started by now. However, the contractors resent in another tentative schedule to start next week. And the last item is the Elizabethtown Gas is planning on milling and paving the Newburgh Road and Allen Road, those pieces that they did last year. So that we don't have a schedule just yet, but we just met with them this week on setting up that and moving forward with that. They also stated that they have plans in process right now that are sort of being drawn up for the next section of Allen Road. So they want to continue the gas main pretty much all the way up Allen Road.
How far? Like Rockport?
Not that far. So I don't think that they're going to get all the way up to the bridge. I think there's a place where they're going to actually cut back. There's an easement that they're going to be tying into.
Okay.
So they're saying right in 2027, getting that road.
So they would repave the entire Allen Road after they do that as well?
Well, we have to look at the plans, but they, I think they're doing two mains similar to what they're doing right now in Newburgh, as well as the first part of Allen Road. They're just going to continue that on.
It's pretty rough down at the bottom, so it's probably good.
Yeah.
I should have it.
Yeah. So, other than that, that's it for the updates.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Public portion. It's time to open the public portion. State your name and address. We'll give you 3 minutes. I thought it was 5.
3 minutes?
3 minutes. Big crowd tonight.
Okay. My name is Bill Sosis, 15 Brentwood Terrace. Before I begin, I want to ask that I be permitted to complete my comments without interruption. Okay, I'm focusing on one issue tonight, just the interruptions that I noticed during public comment. Under the Open Public Meetings Act, this committee has discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public. At the same time, the statute requires that you set aside a portion of every meeting, like you're doing, for public comment on any issue that a resident believes matters to the municipality. That creates a public forum. The New Jersey Supreme Court addressed this directly in a case called Bessler v. Board of Education, 201 NJ 544. A public comment period implicates First Amendment rights, okay, that carries limits. You can control the meeting, but only in a content-neutral way. Okay, the rule is specific. If a speaker can be stopped if they're disruptive, if they're repetitive, or they're not saying maybe on the subject matter during that same talk, that's the boundary. But in the Supreme Court case Bessler, the board president regavelled the resident down about 30 seconds or something into his comments, while others spoke for several minutes. The jury in this case found that there was no significant or compelling reason for the interruption and that the motivation was not content neutral. Okay, that's where the liability attacks. So the court addressed addressed this, and because the speaker, according to the Board of Education, was a critic, his remarks were viewed as grating and tiresome, and they did not justify him being cut off. So the public comment session exists so citizens can make known their opinions and petition for redress. Okay, even when the criticism is sharp. So that's the part of the structure that we're all operating under. Okay, so when a resident speaks within the allotted time, speaking on an issue they believe concerns the municipality, this has to be respected. So it's a question of, it can't be a question of motive that you don't like what's being said. And this is part of the First Amendment, which gives people the right to address grievances before their government. So I ask that, you respect this, because in my experience, I've noticed a lot of interruptions when you don't like what's being said, okay? And I want to thank Wendy for putting the audios on the website. I think that's a good move. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Name and address.
Brian McKenna, 29 Brow Road. 2 meetings ago, I addressed the committee regarding Bear Creek properties on Waters Road. And Mr. Conley, you recommended me to reach out to Tom Silva. I spoke with him yesterday. And he doesn't understand the difference between a commercial business and a commercial farm. In the letter that was addressed to him, he doesn't understand the business located on the property appears to be commercial, non-agricultural use, which would not qualify the right to farm protection. So he did submit to the property owner that it's non-compliant, and the property owner reached back out to him and said that he let his commercial farm license lapse, which is just a 1-year temporary, where he then needs his site-specific inspection, which never happened, and the county sent multiple letters to him, and he never did anything with it. The zoning officer does not understand the difference, because the homeowner said, well, I'm going to go and reapply, and the zoning officer is going to let him reapply. I spoke with Teresa at the county, and she was a little flabbergasted at that, because you all received this, and he received this. So I am not understanding why you have a zoning official not applying the ordinances that are on the books of the township. This is clear as day. So I think somebody up here needs to get the county on the phone of Corey Tierney's office and their zoning officer to understand what's going on here. I mean, we've been dealing with this for a long time. That's number one. Mr. Lavery, there was a letter, I think you were not here, I presented you a copy of a letter many years ago about one of the buildings was not approved. I don't know if you received that or you saw that.
No,
and I didn't know what the outcome was, where I think you weren't at the meetings, where I got tired of this because I was the lone Mohican in the neighborhood, and I got tired of this whole, I know. And, so I just wanted to follow up on that. There are multiple issues here that need to be addressed. The county understands that this is not a commercial farm, and what's there is clear as day with the pictures that we all have seen. Number two, this is, the township operates, and I don't understand why we as residents of the township have to rat out our neighbors. Why do we not have officials in this township that drive down the street and see what's going on? Because unless somebody comes down here and complains, is this like the police department that sits on Rockport Road and a speeding car goes by at 80 miles an hour and the policeman goes, well, nobody complains, so I'm not going to pull them over? What are we doing here? We're paying thousands of dollars in taxes. There's unlicensed cars all over the place. Who applies that ordinance? The people running commercial businesses, parking vehicles in their own property. Don't make me go down that road. You know who I'm talking about. I know the properties. You know the people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Well,
Name and address, please.
Sarah Hare, I live in Hope. Forgive me that I didn't write down my comments because I am now feeling very nervous in this very big room. Because I came from a Hope meeting with 10 people, including the 3 township officials. So I'm part of a group of people who are concerned about data centers. We're made up of members of the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, Skylands Preservation Alliance, Warren County Environmental Advisory Committee, and a number of other groups, Citizens for Sustainable Development, which got the White Township warehouses. We are deeply concerned about data centers, and we came, and a couple of us came and asked your municipal clerk if you had received the ordinance from Commissioner Kern, and we were told yes, but didn't sound like there's been any discussion or putting that ordinance on an agenda for discussion. And we'd really like to encourage you to take a look at that ordinance. Anybody in this room, it's if you go to a Tap Into article with Commissioner Kern, data centers, you'll find a PDF of the ordinance there to look at. It's really excellent, but it's not only about adopting that ordinance that's modified for your particular township needs. You might just look at your existing ordinances and consider updating like Greenwich is doing right now. They just had a meeting where they decided to go from making data centers a conditional use to a prohibited use. That's a first reading. Who knows, continuing. Other townships now, Furlingheisen, Milton, Alpha, Phillipsburg, you may have seen the articles on it. Both their town council and land use board have voted to adopt the ordinance. Hope has put in their master plan, no data centers. And the reason the commissioner felt this was so important, I have an article for you from the Environmental Health Project, which is out of southwestern Pennsylvania. And you may know Pennsylvania is really inundated right now with proposals for data centers. Low of Mount Bethel, 150 people just showed up at a meeting where the developers, and it was over capacity. It's tomorrow night now. So Commissioner Kern said at a recent commissioner meeting, he wanted people to really get ahead of this, unlike what we've done in the county regarding warehouses in general. So, some of the dangers, I'll go quickly, but noise pollution, light pollution, of course, air pollution, data centers, especially gas-powered, gas-powered data centers emit significant pollutants such as nitrogen oxides, methane, volatile organic compounds, and fine particulate matter. Waterways. Data centers require water to cool computer servers so they do not become too hot to function. A large data center will use up to 5 million gallons of water daily. Think about that. Where's that water coming from? Oh, the Delaware River, its tributaries, your well water. Where is it coming from? Or are truckloads of water going to be shipped in for this? Where is it coming from? Data centers have typically not paid their fair share in utilities, particularly for electricity consumption. And in those situations, other consumers, including residential customers, have had to pay more than they otherwise would. Utility companies identify data centers as large load customers, meaning that they require a lot more energy from the power grid. I could go on, but communities that have had data centers put out, they end up paying more for electricity currently. So there are many other problems that we see, just to mention the sheer impervious surface of large, more than 1 million square foot structures on our environmentally sensitive lands. So we hope that you will consider at least having a discussion, doing your due diligence, and considering what the costs are with data centers and getting ahead of it, because they are happening all around us. And it's not just a positive. It can bring a lot of negatives. So thank you so much for listening to this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I have the article.
Yeah, I would just say on that, I just looked at the code quickly. Doesn't appear that we permit them, so under land use law, anything that's not expressly permitted is deemed prohibited. But if you wanted to prohibit them, if we did an ordinance, then it would be clear to anybody. It'd be a little bit more difficult to have to get a use variance if you wanted to put one.
That's a very good point.
Hi, I'm Margaret Noon from Port Murray. Most of what I want to say, Sarah had already eloquently said, but I'm just going to review 5 points in the ordinance. So prohibition of data centers, as you just mentioned. This ordinance explicitly designates the data centers.
And you're referring to the draft ordinance that the county circulated?
Yes.
That you're referring to?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Designates, sorry, I have retainers, so I slowed my speech a little bit. Designates data centers as non-permitted use in all zones within the township. This decision is aimed at addressing environmental, community, and resource concerns. So I'm just going to kind of go over the environmental and resource issues again. 3 to 5 million gallons of water a day. I know we all have water issues. I had a farm in Mount Olive. We had water issues there. Just a lot there. And there are other ways to cool down data centers that cost the builders more money. But if you want to specify that, if we're including data centers, there's way for them to invest more so they're not using the water, they're using another source. So the water they use evaporates, it does not go back into the system. In addition to that, the use of electricity, it's 300, I think it's megawatts a day, which is the equivalent of a small nuclear reactor. It's a lot of power. I know we sometimes have power issues here. Impact on the community and environment. The adverse effects to, our beautiful community. It's rural, it's quiet, there's better air quality. These are the things that people love about the area and want to live here, and new people moving in. And then this can align with your master plan, prioritizing a rural character, agricultural land, scenic landscapes, environmental resources. And anyway, I feel pretty strongly about this. And if we can provide any more information, we would love to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Man, Washington, 3900 Road, located in Butler Park. I just had 2 questions. I have somebody next to the property that I manage. My family sold the Manning Farm to Scenic Valley Properties in Butler Park. And on the east side of that, I have an individual that's taking all the lumber out of the fence row. And the fence row belongs to Scenic Valley Properties. It amounts to tens of thousands of dollars. It's all black walnut. It's probably about 2 to 3 acres where they've taken everything down. There's no vegetation there. So my question is a site survey required for that much excavating work? And is there a silt fence or silt screening required for excavation of that large? Nobody knows?
Well, it depends, like the soil erosion sediment control ordinance is actually with Warren County Soil Conservation District. So if the disturbance is more than just tree cutting, it has to be soil, so they would have to de-stump it and it actually disturb the soil. So it would go through them. It's got to be a minimum of 5,000 square feet for them to be involved. So,
3 acres should be 5,000 square feet.
So that's where, so it would be in their purview and their review. So they would have to be called upon that if there was that language. disturbance.
So right now, there's nothing.
So the tree removal, there is no ordinance as far as tree removal in Mansfield.
So there's nothing I can do except for file a lawsuit.
Well, there's the, again, no conservation would be one, but if it's already been done, and they're done and off the property,
Well, they just took another tree down Easter Sunday. The tree was 32 inches in diameter at the base. They cut it into two lengths, 18 feet and 15 feet. So that tree alone is between $1,700 and $2,000, just that one tree. Black. And they've taken 5 or 6 trees. So it's close to $10,000. So 2 years ago, at a similar incident along the west side of the property, somebody came in, Mr. Vickers from Delaware, took trees down, amounting to $20,000. One case was settled out of court. The other case, which was up closer to the Anderson Asbury River, took it to court and got a judgment for $5,000. But he's in Delaware. So, good luck trying to go. So that's why I'm here today to see if there's anything that can be done to stop them.
These people trespassing? Or they have permission to be there, or?
No, they've been in the fields with skid steer. Because I've taken pictures of tracks.
But who gave them permission to go on the property?
And they don't have permission. I'm the property manager, and they didn't get permission from
Well,
me.
then they're trespassing, right? Then the police should be.
They were called. They were called, well, first of all, I spoke to the person who was taking the trees. He said he wasn't the owner, but he was the one who was taking the trees down. He had an open burn at that time. That was the end of December of 2025. I told him that he can't be taking the trees down on property he doesn't want. He said, well, I'm not the owner, you gotta go talk to me. And that was Ken Rogers, who lives in the house on the property. He doesn't apparently have anything to do with it. So police were called March 22nd. They said it's a civil issue. They didn't get involved. Police were called again just this past Monday, and they saw a tree that was taken down. They even had a site survey, which shows the property line, and the trees are on the property belonging to Civic. That's not here tonight. So I might have to keep calling the police because I don't get any further. They need to see property markers. You know, they don't want to see a site survey. Property markers. Yeah.
I'd like to see some, I just don't understand why people unrelated to the property just feel like can walk on and start, it just seems odd.
Yeah, I mean,
You've had
I have
multiple
pictures
people
where you can still see the track from the skid steer. There's trees that are still laying on the property. He left debris behind. One was a climbing spike. One was a metal wedge to take a tree down, 5 inches long. I can't imagine what they would do to a tractor tire. Trees are still laying in the property. There was one tree that had tree stands, deer stands. The property is leased out to Wharton Field and Stream. They currently have exclusive continuing fishing rights. They also have a permit to stock killing birds. Well, they took the tree down, and the tree fell into the field, and they left the tree stand. Cut around it, just left it, and pulled it out. So there's also, no trespassing signs on the trees. They took the tree down, and they just tore off the sign to stop it.
I was gonna make my next question as just, it just, if you have any other information that you can provide through the clerk, because it's just odd somebody can come up from Delaware and just go on property they don't own and start cutting trees down.
On the west side of the property, that was Delaware. On the east side, I believe his name is Michael Rogers. He's the nephew of Ken Rogers, who lives on the property. And the police officer said, do something real quick because he sees trucks going in and out of there, taking all the wood. Or to a lumber mill, I guess. So I don't know what can be done to stop them, but that's what I'm here to.
I don't know either. I think we'd have to be provided some more information to take a look at to see if I would assume somebody is giving them permission. Like, it's just the whole.
They don't.
I believe what you're saying, but
They
it
have to
just
come to
seems.
me to get permission.
Yeah, no. But is somebody else giving them permission? It's the person that lives in the house.
I'm the only one who was in the house. Since my mom died. So no one is giving them permission. They don't have permission.
And you've gotten judgments, I think you said, against 2 different people that were
That's
there.
on the west side. This is on the east side. So on the west side, that was done a couple years ago. On the east side, now I got a problem with a different person. And he has some kind of connection with cattle hunters. I think he's the nephew. He doesn't live in the area, but he comes up on weekends, and that's one of the workers now. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. I mean, if they're trespassing, obviously you can call the police.
So it's my understanding that our officers have been talking to Ann Rogers' sister, who is property owner, and nephew is her son. It's our understanding that that's her property.
Well, there's 3 lots. Well, actually, there's 4 lots.
I think maybe that's where the confusion is.
First
You
lot,
can't make that judgment on whose property it is, so.
well, the first
I
lot,
can look into it.
okay, the first lot, it belongs to our sheep right. The second lot, which is the house, belongs to the estate of Kingdon and Barbara Rogers, which is the father to Kenneth. Third lot belongs to Kingdon and Barbara, not the estate, but Kingdon and Barbara. The fourth lot belongs to Watts. So there's 4 different lots.
I'll be looking into it and see what I know, believe me, we've been there many times for other issues than that, so. But I was under the understanding that one of the property owners gave her son permission to cut the tree.
Maybe on their side of the property. Certainly not on the property line, he's got property.
Okay.
All right, sir, I would suggest we're way over 3 minutes. You know, Mr. Solis is right, want to be very,
Yes.
you got to be fair. So
It's
this-
been almost 10 minutes. That's the kind of disparity that the court talked about in
No,
this.
no, you're right.
Okay, you should know that.
No, I know full best of myself.
Okay, good.
Can I get your name later on, or? I'm sorry.
Shirley Kocher, 5 Clover Avenue. Exactly what he's talking about. So after going to the land use board meeting, and Brent saw me there and gave me some information, I ended up contacting Sandy over the soil conservation, and she said that warnings and violations were issued. I spoke to Tom, our violations officer, and he said, yes, same thing. The problem is, you got a couple different problems here. Not just those 4 properties he's talking about. I hold a cluster of tax liens on properties on Frome Street, and he has gone east of that. He completely cleared lot 2 and 3 of 2807, which I hold liens on. I've seen the piles of black walnut trees that they had stacked up that they pulled out of there. They have completely cleared the lots. They brought in soil. We don't know where the soil came from. And I was down there several days when it was raining. We have a water pumping station right there. The water was running right into the water pumping station. Friday I was there and New Jersey Water was there. They were replacing the hydrant because somebody backed into the hydrant or ran over the hydrant and cracked it. You have no hydrant service down there now at the end of Frome Street. Somebody's got to take a look at this and find out what's going on. So, I mean, it's a mess. There's several houses on Frome Street. The people are really, really upset. And like I said, tell me that the dirt you brought in was certified. I don't know if it's mixed with millings. I don't know if it's dirty dirt. And now you got water running off of it because you cleared everything. And that's a downgrade. It hit the water pumping station, but it's going on down to the Musconetton. That's a problem. So I called DEP and filed a complaint. Because it's a mess. Nobody has permission to be back there. Apparently, we can't get any, I mean, I know one lot, I got the name of the owner. She lives in Pennsylvania. Her daughter's taking care of the property. But I don't know that that's what you're involved in.
Well, the 4 lots right next to the farm.
Right, in a straight line down, yeah. And I'm east of that. If you come up Frome Street on the right-hand side, I have lots 2 and 3, and on the front side, I have 30 through 26. So, and my bigger concern is the water pumping station. I don't know if anybody's been, that's why I call DEP. So, let you guys know, but you guys should get your zoning officer to go out there and find out what's going on. If somebody needs to get whacked with a penalty for breaking a hydrant, especially when they're not supposed to be there. So,
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Carol Thompson, Live 10, Route 57, Fort Meridian, New Jersey. My issue this evening is, of course, our zoning officer, Tom Silva. He is not doing his job. He's not enforcing the ordinances as I've asked. And I specifically texted with him last Friday when things were bad, because things are getting progressively worse with vehicles being left out overnight, junk wrecked vehicles being stored, going back to when there's no enforcement, they get away with whatever they want to do. They continue to disturb the integrity of the neighborhood. The zoning officer said he went out. I don't believe that he did because he said he saw nothing. I have pictures and I have video, but he is not doing his job. This has been going on for a long time now, and he sees nothing. He needs to start to see something. Someone needs to explain to him expansion of a non-conforming use. He feels it was the used cars being stored out there. He doesn't, I've given him the resolution where it explains everything. I've given him data on expansion of the non-conforming use. So I would like someone to speak to him or explain to him what an expansion of a non-conforming use is, and either to ask him to do his job, or I would like someone from the Township Committee to take over for him and monitor the situation and put an end to this. It's been going on long enough. I followed the legal path, and it's being allowed. The junkyard relies on the lack of integrity of the town, and they're getting away with whatever they want to do. We're back where we were again in 2008. Will someone speak to Mr. Silva and explain to him about a non-conforming use? And I would like some documentation. Maybe he could take some pictures or some notes, some dates and times when he's out there, when he doesn't see things, so that we can compare them with mine. Because I don't even think he's going out there. He does have a full-time job somewhere else, and I don't know where he's squeezing in the 20 hours that he's being reimbursed for. But he is not doing his job, and I'm demanding as a taxpayer and a resident that he do his job. It's been long enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Michael Mizerkino, Walter Terrace, here in town. Just have one big point that's probably broken down into two. So I'm going to make an opening statement and then I'll get into it. Mansfield is a small rural community. I've lived here for 2 decades. I'm very pleased to have made this place my home and have raised my children here. One thing I have learned while on the Township Committee years ago is that the strategy divide and conquer is not a good strategy for governance, nor a sign of effective leadership. I see no value in pitting neighbor against neighbor, voter against voter, just to win a seat on the Township Committee. Any person who wins under such circumstances only achieves partial support from the community and will never succeed in winning over those that were the object of attack. I, on the other hand, have come to value earning respect and support from everyone if possible. To that end, last year, there was a lot of talk about transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility, with the implication being that everybody up on the township committee lacked it. The insinuation was, without knowing any of you up there, that you lacked transparency, you weren't being forthright with the community, that you weren't accountable to anything, and that the township finances were irresponsibly being managed. I, on the other hand, believe that was not the case. Well, I believe that there could be room for growth and improvement. But the way things are handled and have been handled when it comes to campaigning in this town, I think needs to change, and change drastically. Because I do not believe that this small township should be subjected to continuous division. So last year, me and Bob, you were forthright in your attacks against the committee and insinuations. On December 10th or 12th, I remember you made a Facebook post. 30 days till transparency and accountability come to Mansfield. Here we are, April 8th. Tort claim notice. You were suing the town. But yet I don't see this document, or the fact that you're suing the town, anywhere on your Mike Ballard Facebook page or committee page. The point I'm making, transparency, if you're going to run on that, it's 100% transparent. Means everything you do has to be transparent. You don't withhold anything. But yet,
Time's up, sir.
Important. And this was filed December 22nd, 10 days after you said transparency and accountability was coming to Mansfield. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public portion. Ordinance 12-2026, second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Open this to the public. Wants the public have any comments on this ordinance?
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
Keith Brodeen, from Mansfield Township. I cannot hear a word that anybody is saying. And I am not hard of hearing, I don't have hearing aids, but I'm not
We'll
hearing
step it up a
anything.
little bit. I'm sorry, sir. Thank you.
I would like to say one thing.
Can you come to the
This-
microphone, sir?
Is this about the ordinance?
No.
That's what
To be
we're,
honest with you,
that's what we're asking public portion for now.
I don't know what ordinance is being spoken about right now, because I'm not hearing
12-2024.
anything. But I know this woman in the back, against the wall that was just up here, I got bits and pieces of what she was saying, and she was looking for a little bit of an answer.
Well, you could have said something earlier instead of waiting until now.
No, but.
We're not in
she was
the,
looking
we're
for
not
an
in the
answer.
public portion now for the general meeting. We're in the public portion for ordinance, second reading, and public hearing, 12-2026. If you have a question in regards to that, we'll entertain it. If you don't, I would be happy to take your seat.
Yeah.
And I've got the microphone closer now, so you can hear me.
I would just like to express that.
Apparently mine was not
did
working.
pick up that she was looking for an answer from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and everybody was nil. Nobody said a word, and she walked away without.
Okay, we got your point.
Without anything.
Thank you.
And I think that was a bit disrespectful.
What woman was that? Woman from Hope?
Yes.
Oh,
And
Shirley?
I don't even know. but
All those things that she said were so. Were so.
But nobody said a word.
The soils office was contact, listen to me 1 minute. The soils office was contacted. The zoning officer was contacted. They all went there and supposedly violations were issued. At this point, there is nothing else that we can do to remedy the situation.
But nobody.
They are the appropriate authority that would be contacted to go there.
Nobody said.
I would appreciate it if you see now, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
I expressed myself.
Any further comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Okay, ordinance 13-2026, first reading, introduction. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Resolution 106-2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Resolution 107-2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Resolution 108-2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Okay, at this time, I'll open the public portion again. The consent agenda. If anyone has any questions in regards to the consent agenda. We have 7 resolutions on that agenda. Seeing no questions, I close the public portion. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
1 second. Resolutions 109, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
I have to abstain from 111.
So you want to take that one separately?
Please.
So the 109, 110, 112, 13, 14, and 15.
I'll have a motion for that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. Okay, we'll take 111-2026. Do I have a motion approved? Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Same.
Mayor Waters.
Yes. New business. We don't have any new business.
I'd like to discuss ordinance 2018-02. I want a motion for the township directly for the township attorney to prepare an amendment to chapter 151 for the introduction at the next regular meeting under the following basis and reason. In the New Jersey Supreme Court case of Torres v. Borough of Pine Hill, the court recognized the right to videotape open public meetings and was subject to reasonable restrictions. My concern with chapter 151 is that it regulates that right with vague and conflicting language rather than clear and objective standards. That really matters because violations of Chapter 151 are punishable under the Township's general penalty provision, which allows up to a $2,000 fine, 90 days in jail, or 90 days of community service, in which these penalties are on par with a second DUI violation. If the Township is going to regulate a recognized right with penalties like that, it should do so cleanly and fairly, in a way that's tied to actual disruption, safety, obstruction, or non-public portions of the meeting. As written, the ordinance leaves too much subjective interpretation in the moment, and it means too much depends on discretionary enforcement by a presiding officer rather than on clear rules applied equally to everyone. This motion is in the interest of the constitutional right to document government process without making the penalties so severe that it effectively inhibits that right, effectively promoting transparency, and is about making it clear and more defensible. Gives the committee that opportunity either to reaffirm the ordinance currently as written or support clarifying it. Either way, the public deserves a clear record on where each member stands on the matter.
I just, for information's sake, I talked to him, father, and he contacted me about this. It makes sense. This ordinance has been in effect for, I think, at least 6 years, and it was a time when you had the big cameras, so people would come in and they'd set up and they'd need cables and that type of thing. And people were sitting in the front row and had cables where people could trip. So the court said that, well, as long as you set, people are allowed to take meetings, but you can have reasonable restrictions. So at the time, you had these big cameras, so you wanted to keep them in the back rows. And, you know, have to do that. So the technology's just changed. I mean, there's restrictions on cell phones. I mean, now you have cell phones that can record. Back then, you didn't have that. So it's probably not a bad idea.
What's vague and conflicting about the current ordinance? I hadn't read it until it was circulating, so I didn't know it was close. But
Yeah, sure. I mean, one part of the provision of it, or section of it, it says, remain with equipment at all times. So what would you define as remaining equipment with the equipment? I'm just asking generally. Like, would it be standing next to
is
it?
that vague or is that?
I mean, it would be very vague. No, it'd be very vague because does it mean stand by the equipment? Like, is there a certain radius at which you violate that? So, like, if you're within 5 feet, is that okay? Or is it after 10 feet you're not? If I have to leave the room or someone leaves the room to go to the bathroom, are they in violation of that chapter? It doesn't quite specify that's what I mean by vague.
I wasn't here at the time. I heard about this.
Oh, neither was I. I wasn't even in this
We're in
town.
the same place. My understanding was that there was a period of time where people would set up equipment, leave the room, the cameras were beeping, the battery was dying or whatever, and they weren't near the equipment, and it became disruptive. Now, I understood the whole purpose of the ordinance was because no one's saying you can't record meetings with equipment, you just can't be disruptive. So, is that still the goal of the ordinance in your mind? Like, do you would maintain that? You just want to modify some of the language?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want a camera beeping or making noise or some offensive type lighting. You know, nothing like that.
That all stays.
Yeah, of
What
course.
would you remove other than staying with the camera? That this whole conversation gotta be more than that.
I mean, I can go through the entire draft.
If you just give a few items why we're raising something that's been on the books for 8 years, my understanding, no one's ever been charged on this.
I mean,
there are issues in town, there's ordinance issues, I don't hear about them every couple of weeks. But no one ever complains about this other than you raising it tonight. So I just want to be
just
confused why this is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm bringing it up because I was going through a couple different ordinances that I found, and this ordinance it's not just me bringing it up. It was actually reported on by 4 different news agencies as also being an overstep into, say, the First Amendment or documenting government meetings. So it's not particularly just me. At the time, 2018, there were those 4 agencies that reported on this. Obviously, I wasn't living here at the time.
8 years ago, there were 4 news reports on this.
4 news agencies, yes.
Okay. In the last 3 years, has there been a single report on this ordinance anywhere?
Well, I mean, the news cycle moves on.
The answer is no.
I would say no.
No. Okay. Has anyone been charged on this ordinance in 8 years?
It doesn't particularly matter if it's still an egregious type of ordinance.
Look, I'm not against if you want to modify it, because in theory, it should be better worded. But we've got a lot of issues in town that probably deserve more airtime. We have a school board that's increasing the budget by 5%, or taxes are going up 5% because of that.
You're welcome to bring it up.
That's an issue the people in town should be concerned about.
Yeah, and I 100% agree, and that's why I 100% agree. I 100% agree. That's why you can add it to new business. Like, if it's an issue that you have, of course, bring it up. Be happy to talk about it.
Any other new business?
Well, I think, Michael, you want to
Yeah, I put the motion on the table already.
Updating ordinance that went on books for 8 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, the motion's already on the table.
So what is the motion exactly?
To have the attorney review the draft and prepare an amendment for Chapter 151 for introduction to the next regular meeting.
You want it done in 2 weeks?
There's already a draft that I did, but I would like the township attorney
Well,
to.
we've not seen a draft. I haven't anyway, didn't see the draft. So you prepared a draft to the attorney.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I would like the lawyer to review it and then disperse it among the committee members.
Do I have a second? Seeing none. Vote. Any others? Nothing? We have executive session today?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion to executive session.
Have a second? Second, roll call.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Connolly.
Yeah.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mayor Waters.
Yeah.
That's for a contractual matter dealing with engineering.
Ask everyone to clear the room, please.